Captain Jake Morrison floated in the command chair of the human ship Wanderer. His crew of 12 had been traveling through space for 6 months. They were the first humans to go this far from Earth. Jake looked at the stars through the big window and smiled. Today might be the day they found other life in the universe. "Captain, I'm getting strange readings," said Lisa Grant from the pilot seat. She was 28 years old and one of the best pilots Earth had ever trained. Her hands moved quickly over the controls. "There are 5 big ships coming toward us. They're huge, sir." Jake stood up and walked to Lisa's station. The screen showed 5 massive ships that looked like nothing humans had ever built. They were dark gray and covered in sharp edges. Each ship was 3 times bigger than the Wanderer. "Try to talk to them," Jake said. "Maybe they're friendly." Tony Blake, the ship's engineer, looked up from his computer. He was a thin man with smart eyes who could fix anything. "Captain, those ships have weapons. Big ones. I've never seen anything like them." Dr. Amy Carter, the team's science expert, was studying the readings on her screen. She was excited, but also scared. "These ships are from another world. Real aliens." "Captain, this is what we've been looking for." Jake nodded. "Lisa, send them a message. Tell them we come in peace." Lisa pressed buttons and spoke into the radio. "Unknown ships, this is Captain Jake Morrison of the human ship Wanderer. We come in peace. We want to talk." The alien ships kept coming closer. They moved in a perfect line, like soldiers marching. After a few minutes, a voice came through the radio. It was deep and rough, like rocks grinding together. "Small ship, you will stop your engines. You will surrender. We are the Zelkari Empire. You belong to us now." Jake looked at his crew. They all seemed worried. "This is Captain Morrison. We don't want any trouble. We're just exploring space." "You are weak creatures," the alien voice said. "Your ship is small. Your weapons are nothing. You will be our slaves." Tony Blake was working fast on his computer. "Captain, I'm reading their computer systems. They're trying to hack into our ship, but I can hack them too." "Do it," Jake said. "Lisa, can we run away?" Lisa shook her head. "They're too fast. They'll catch us." The alien ships surrounded the Wanderer. Jake could see strange lights moving on their dark surfaces. The largest ship was directly in front of them. Through his window, Jake could see shapes moving inside the alien ship. They looked like giant lizards walking on 2 legs. "Weak humans," the alien voice said again. "We have destroyed 1,000 worlds. We have made slaves of 50 different species. You are nothing special." Dr. Amy Carter was recording everything. "Captain, they're studying us too. They think we're just another weak species they can control." Jake felt angry. These aliens thought humans were weak, just because their ship was smaller. They didn't know anything about humans. They didn't know that humans never gave up, even when things looked hopeless. "Human captain," the alien voice said, "open your ship. Let us inside. If you fight, we will kill you all." Jake looked at his crew. Lisa was ready to fight. Tony was still working on his computer. Amy was taking notes. They were all scared, but none of them wanted to surrender. "What do you think?" Jake asked them. "I say we fight," Lisa said. "I didn't come all this way just to become someone's slave." Tony looked up from his computer. "I've planted something in their system. It's a virus. It will spread to all their ships and learn everything about them. But I need more time." "We're scientists and explorers," Amy said. "But we're also human. Humans don't surrender." Jake smiled. His crew was ready to fight, even though they would probably die. That was what made humans special. They would rather die fighting than live as slaves. "Zelkari ships," Jake said into the radio. "This is our answer. Jake grabbed the controls and pointed the Wanderer straight at the biggest alien ship. The engines roared to life. The small human ship shot forward like a bullet. "What are you doing?" The alien voice shouted. "Stop! You will die." "Maybe," Jake said, "but we'll take you with us." The Wanderer crashed into the alien ship. The explosion lit up space like a new star. Jake and most of his crew died in the crash, but they damaged the alien ship badly. Lisa Grant and 2 others escaped in a small shuttle just before the crash. Commander Vexstar, the Zalkari leader, survived the crash. He was hurt and confused. In all his years of conquering worlds, no species had ever done this. Other aliens always surrendered when they saw the Zalkari fleet. They begged for mercy. They offered to serve the Empire. But these humans were different. They chose to die rather than surrender. They fought like wild animals, even when they had no chance of winning. "Sir," said one of Vexstar's officers, "should we chase the shuttle?" Vexstar looked at his damaged ship. "No, let them go. They are just a few survivors. What harm can they do?" He didn't know that Tony Blake's virus was already spreading through the Zalkari computer systems. He didn't know that the 3 humans in the shuttle would soon bring news of the Zalkari Empire back to Earth. He didn't know that humanity's war for survival had just begun. As the small shuttle flew away into the darkness, Lisa Grant looked back at the explosion. "We'll be back," she whispered. "And next time, we'll be ready." 6 months had passed since the Wanderer crashed into the Zalkari ship. Lisa Grant sat in a meeting room on Earth's biggest space station. Around the table sat Earth's most important military leaders and scientists. They were all listening to her report about the aliens. "The Zalkari Empire has been conquering worlds for thousands of years," Lisa said. "They have weapons we've never seen before. Their ships are huge and fast, but they made one mistake. They thought we were weak." General Karen White, the head of Earth's military, leaned forward. "How many ships do they have?" "Thousands," Lisa said. "Maybe more. But Tony Blake's virus is working. It's sending us information every day." Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Earth's best computer expert, smiled. "Tony's virus is amazing. It's not just copying their files. It's learning how their whole system works. Look." At this, Elena pressed a button, and a big screen showed pictures of alien ships and weapons. "The virus has mapped their entire fleet. We know where every ship is located. We know their battle plans. We even know what they eat for breakfast." Colonel Rick Stone, a tough soldier with gray hair, studied the pictures. "This is incredible. But what worries me is their history. They've destroyed entire civilizations. They turn other species into slaves. They're not just conquerors. They're destroyers." Lisa nodded. "But there's something else. The virus also sent them information about us. It copied our music, our books, our movies. It even copied files about our wars." Dr. Rodriguez pulled up another screen. "The Zalkari are studying human history. They're learning about World War II, the Civil War, every battle humans have ever fought. And it's scaring them." "Why would our history scare them?" asked General White. "Because they're realizing that humans are different from every other species they've conquered," Lisa explained. "Other aliens fight with honor. They follow rules. They surrender when they're beaten. But humans humans fight dirty. We never give up. We'd rather die than lose." Colonel Stone stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see hundreds of ships being built. Earth was preparing for war. "What about their technology? Can we match their weapons?" "We're working on it," Dr. Rodriguez said. "The virus has given us their blueprints. We're building new ships based on their designs. But we're making them better. We're adding human ideas to alien technology." Lisa smiled. The Zelkari think they know everything about war, but they've never fought humans before. They don't understand what makes us dangerous. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, Commander Vextar was having problems. His ship's computers were acting strange. Files were disappearing and reappearing. New files were showing up that nobody had created. The virus was spreading through every Zelkari ship and base. "Sir," said his technology officer, "we found the source of the problem. It's the virus from the human ship. It's in our entire network now." Vextar hit his desk with his fist. "Then remove it." "We can't, sir. Every time we try to delete it, it comes back stronger. It's like it's alive. And, sir, there's something else. The virus is sending data somewhere. It's talking to the humans." Vextar felt a cold fear in his stomach. "What kind of data?" "Everything, sir. Our ship locations, our weapon designs, our battle plans. The humans know everything about us now." But that wasn't the worst part. The virus was also showing the Zelkari what humans were really like. Zelkari soldiers were finding human movies on their computers. They watched films about human wars and were shocked by what they saw. The Zelkari had always believed they were the most violent species in the galaxy. They conquered other worlds by being more brutal than anyone else. But the human movies showed them something terrifying. Humans didn't just fight to win. They fought to completely destroy their enemies. One young Zelkari soldier, named Kex, was watching a human movie about something called the Vietnam War. He saw human soldiers fighting in jungles, setting traps, and never giving up even when they were outnumbered. The humans in the movie looked small and weak, but they fought like demons. "This can't be real," Kex said to his friend. "These humans are too violent. No species fights like this." But the virus had also copied human history books. The Zelkari learned about the Mongol Empire, which conquered most of Asia. They read about the Roman Empire, which lasted for hundreds of years. They discovered that humans had been fighting wars for thousands of years, and they were very good at it. The most frightening thing was that humans seemed to enjoy war. Other species fought because they had to. Humans fought because they wanted to. They wrote songs about battles. They made movies about wars. They celebrated their victories and learned from their defeats. Dr. Amy Carter was back on Earth, working with a team of scientists to study the Zelkari. The virus had sent back detailed information about Zelkari biology and psychology. What they found was disturbing. The Zelkari are afraid of being eaten, Amy told the military leaders. It's built into their genes. Their ancestors were prey. Animals. Deep down, they're still afraid of being hunted. General White raised an eyebrow. "That's interesting. How can we use that?" "We can make them think we're predators," Amy said. "We can make them afraid of us. Fear is a powerful weapon." Lisa Grant was now training new pilots for the coming war. She taught them everything she had learned about the Zelkari. But she also taught them something more important. The Zelkari think they're the strongest species in the galaxy, Lisa told her students. They think they're the best fighters, but they're wrong. They've never met humans before. They don't know that humans are the ultimate predators. One of her students, a young pilot named Gary Adams, raised his hand. "But ma'am, their ships are bigger than ours. Their weapons are stronger." Lisa smiled. "Size doesn't matter, Gary. A lion is bigger than a human, but humans hunted lions to almost extinction. We're not the strongest species. We're the smartest. We're the most determined, and we never, ever give up." As the months passed, the virus continued to spread through the Zelkari Empire. It was copying their technology and sending it to Earth, but it was also doing something else. It was changing how the Zelkari thought about humans. Before the virus, the Zelkari saw humans as just another weak species to conquer. Now they were beginning to understand The humans were something completely different. Humans were predators who had learned to hunt in space. Commander Vextar stood on the bridge of his ship and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the humans were preparing for war. He had sent reports to the Zelkari High Command, but they didn't seem to understand the danger. "Sir," said his communications officer, "we're receiving a message from the human homeworld." "Put it on the screen," Vextar ordered. The screen showed a human woman in a military uniform. It was General Karen White. She looked directly at Vextar and spoke in a calm, cold voice. "Commander Vextar, this is General White of the Earth Defense Force. We know who you are. We know where you are. And we're coming for you." The message ended. Vextar felt something he had never felt before in his life. He felt like prey being hunted by a predator. And he was right. The war had begun. General Karen White stood in the command center of Earth's new battle station. Giant screens showed the positions of human and Zelkari ships across the galaxy. The humans were ready to fight, and they had learned everything about their enemies. "Report," General White said to her staff. Colonel Rick Stone pointed to a screen showing a Zelkari colony. "Our first attack was successful. We hit their supply base on Kepler 442b, but we didn't just destroy it. We left something behind." "What? Did you leave?" asked General White. "Evidence that we ate their dead soldiers," Stone said with a grim smile. "We scattered bone fragments around the base. We left cooking fires with meat still burning. We made it look like we had a feast." Dr. Amy Carter was watching the Zelkari response on her computer. "It's working. The Zelkari soldiers are terrified. They're sending messages to their commanders about demon humans who eat their enemies." General White nodded. "Good. Fear is our best weapon. What else?" Lieutenant Commander Pete Davis had just returned from a secret mission. He was a Special Forces soldier who specialized in sneaking into enemy territory. His team had been busy. "For weeks, we infiltrated 3 Zelkari bases," Pete reported. "We didn't kill anyone. Instead, we sabotaged their food supplies. We made their water taste bad. We messed with their air systems so they couldn't sleep well. We made their lives miserable." "Why not just kill them?" asked Colonel Stone. "Because scared, tired, hungry soldiers spread fear better than dead ones." Pete explained. "When these soldiers talk to their friends, they'll tell them about the humans who can sneak anywhere, who can poison their food, who can make their lives hell without even showing themselves." Dr. Amy Carter had been studying Zelkari psychology for months. She understood how their minds worked. The Zelkari are hunters, but they're also prey animals. Deep in their brains, they still remember being hunted by bigger predators. We're awakening that fear. Admiral Lisa Grant was leading the human fleet in space battles. But these weren't normal battles. The humans were fighting in a way that no other species had ever fought before. "Target their engines, not their weapons," Lisa ordered her ships. "Disable them. Make them float helpless in space. Then broadcast our message. The human ships attacked a Zelkari patrol. Instead of trying to destroy the enemy ships, they damaged them just enough to leave them stranded." Then Lisa sent a message to the helpless Zelkari crews. "This is Admiral Grant of the human fleet. We could have killed you all. Instead, we're giving you a choice. Surrender now, and we'll let you live. Keep fighting, and we'll come back to finish you. But next time, we won't be so merciful." The Zelkari crews listened to the message and felt something they had never felt before. They felt like prey animals being played with by a predator. The humans could have killed them, but they chose not to. That was somehow more frightening than being destroyed. Commander Vextar was receiving reports from across the Empire. Every report was the same. The humans were not fighting like any other species. They were fighting like predators who enjoyed the hunt. Sir, said his intelligence officer, we intercepted some human communications. They're talking about us, like we're animals to be hunted. Vextar read the messages on his screen. One human soldier had written to his family. The Zelkari are tough, but they're not smart. They fight like angry children. We fight like wolves hunting deer. Another message said, these lizard people think they're scary, but they've never seen what humans can do. We've been hunting and killing for millions of years. It's what we're good at. The worst message was from a human commander. The Zelkari taste like chicken. We should start a restaurant chain when this war is over. Vextar knew the humans were lying about eating Zelkari soldiers. But his troops didn't know that. Fear was spreading through the Zelkari military like a disease. Dr. Amy Carter was working on a new project. She was creating fake human communications that would be accidentally intercepted by the Zelkari. These messages were designed to make the humans sound even more terrifying. Make sure they find this one, Amy told her team. She had written a fake message about human soldiers collecting Zelkari bones to make jewelry. Another fake message talked about human children learning to hunt Zelkari as a game. The fake messages were working. Zelkari soldiers were having nightmares about being hunted by human children. They were afraid to sleep because they dreamed of humans wearing necklaces made from Zelkari bones, but the humans were also using real fear. Captain Gary Adams was leading bombing missions against Zelkari planets. But he wasn't targeting military bases. He was targeting farms and factories. We're not trying to kill them, Gary explained to his pilots. We're trying to make them hungry. Hungry soldiers fight worse than well-fed soldiers. And hungry civilians blame their leaders for starting the war. The strategy was working. Food shortages were spreading across the Zelkari Empire. Hungry Zelkari families were asking their leaders why they had attacked the humans. Some Zelkari planets were beginning to surrender without fighting. Pete Davis was leading more secret missions. His team would sneak into Zelkari cities at night and leave strange messages on walls. The messages were written in the Zelkari language, but they said things like, "We know where you sleep," and "We are watching you." The beauty of this, Pete told his team, is that we don't have to hurt anyone. We just have to make them think we might hurt them. Fear does the rest. The Zelkari were also learning about human history through the virus. They read about ancient human warriors who would drink the blood of their enemies. They learned about human tribes that would eat parts of defeated enemies to gain their strength. Most of these stories were from thousands of years ago, and modern humans didn't do these things. But the Zelkari didn't know that. They thought all humans were bloodthirsty savages who lived for war. Commander Vextar was losing control of his fleet. Zelkari soldiers were refusing to fight. Some were deserting and running away. Others were surrendering as soon as they saw human ships. "Sir," said his communications officer, "we're receiving reports from across the Empire. Our soldiers are having mental breakdowns. They're afraid to fight the humans." Vextar looked at the reports. One soldier had written, "The humans are not like us. They don't fight for honor or glory. They fight because they enjoy killing. They are monsters." Another report said, "I saw a human ship today. It was small, but I felt like I was being hunted by a giant predator. I couldn't stop shaking." The worst report came from a Zelkari general. "We should never have attacked the humans. They are not a species we can defeat. They are the ultimate predators. We are just prey." Dr. Amy Carter was monitoring Zelkari communications. She was amazed by how well the psychological warfare was working. "They're calling us the hunting species now. They think we're biologically designed to hunt and kill other species." General White smiled. "In a way, they're right. Humans are persistence hunters. We evolved to chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. In space, we're doing the same thing to the Zelkari Empire. Admiral Lisa Grant was planning the final phase of the psychological campaign. We're going to offer them a choice: surrender completely or face total destruction. But we're going to make it clear that surrender means becoming our servants. The message was sent to every Zelkari ship and base in the galaxy. It was short and simple. This is the human race. You have seen what we can do. You have felt our power. Surrender now, and you will live as our servants. Continue fighting, and we will hunt you across the galaxy until none of you remain. You have one day to decide. Vextar read the message and felt his world crumble. The humans weren't just offering victory. They were offering to make the Zelkari into pets. It was the ultimate insult to a proud warrior race. But as Vextar looked at his frightened soldiers and his damaged ships, he realized something terrible. The humans were right. The Zelkari had become prey, and the humans were the predators who had been hunting them all along. The psychological war was almost over. The humans had won without fighting a single major battle. They had simply scared their enemies into submission. It was the most efficient conquest in galactic history. The Zelkari Empire was falling apart, but they were not giving up. Commander Vextar sent desperate messages across the galaxy, begging other alien species to help fight the humans. He knew that if the humans destroyed the Zelkari, they would come for everyone else next. The humans are not just another species, Vextar said in his message to the Vorthan Collective. They are predators. They hunt for pleasure. If we don't stop them now, they will devour the entire galaxy. The Vorthan Collective was a group of aliens who shared one giant mind. They all thought together like a huge brain. Nexus Prime, their leader, listened to Vextar's message and felt worried. The Zelkari are warriors, Nexus Prime said to the other Vorthan leaders. If they are afraid of these humans, then we should be afraid too. We will help fight them. The Crystalline Syndicate also agreed to help. They were aliens made of living crystal who lived for thousands of years. Their leader, Speaker of Facets, had watched many species rise and fall. She had never seen anything like the humans before. These humans are different, Speaker of Facets told her council. They fight with their minds as much as their weapons. They use fear like a tool. We must join with the Zelkari to stop them. Soon, the three most powerful alien empires in the galaxy were working together to fight humanity. They had thousands of ships and millions of soldiers. Surely, they thought, they could defeat one small species from a tiny planet. But the humans had been watching and learning. Dr. Elena Rodriguez and her team had been studying the aliens through Tony Blake's virus. They knew everything about their enemies' weaknesses. The Vorthan Collective shares one mind, Elena explained to the military leaders. That's their strength, but it's also their weakness. If we can confuse their shared mind, we can make them fight each other. Dr. Marcus Bell was Elena's assistant. He was a young genius who understood alien computer systems better than anyone. I can create a virus that will plant false memories in their shared mind. They'll think they're being attacked by each other. Admiral Lisa Grant was now commanding the entire human fleet. She had learned a lot about space warfare since the first battle with the Zelkari. What about the Crystalline Syndicate? They're organized like a pyramid, said Dr. Amy Carter. The leaders give orders to the middle level, who give orders to the bottom level. If we remove the leaders, the whole system falls apart. Lieutenant Commander Gary Adams had been promoted to lead the human special forces. He was planning secret missions to kidnap and replace alien leaders. We can make synthetic copies of their leaders, robot doubles that look exactly like them. But follow our orders. The Alien Alliance attacked first. A huge fleet of Zelkari, Vorthan, and Crystalline ships surrounded the human colony on Proxima Centauri. They expected an easy victory against the small human settlement, but the humans were ready. As soon as the alien fleet arrived, Dr. Bell's virus infected the Vorthan ships. The virus planted false memories in their shared mind, making them think they were being attacked by the Zelkari. "The Zelkari are firing on us," shouted a Vorthan commander who was seeing false memories. "They have betrayed us." The Vorthan ships turned and attacked their Zelkari allies. The Zelkari were confused and fired back. Within minutes, the two fleets were fighting each other instead of the humans. Admiral Susan Clark was commanding the human ships at Proxima Centauri. She watched the aliens destroy each other and smiled. Sometimes the best way to win a fight is to not fight at all. The Crystalline Syndicate ships tried to restore order, but they were too late. The Vorthan and Zelkari fleets had badly damaged each other. The humans swept in and finished off the survivors, but the real battle was happening behind enemy lines. Gary Adams and his team had infiltrated the crystalline home world. They moved through the crystal cities like ghosts, kidnapping important leaders and replacing them with synthetic copies. "The synthetic doubles are perfect," Gary reported to Earth. "They look exactly like the real leaders, but they're programmed to follow human orders. The Crystalline Syndicate is now working for us, and they don't even know it." Speaker of Facets was one of the first leaders to be replaced. The real speaker was captured and taken to a human prison ship. The synthetic speaker looked and acted exactly like her, but she was now secretly working for humanity. "We must retreat and regroup," the synthetic speaker told the Crystalline Council. "The humans are too strong. We need to pull back our forces and defend our home worlds." The Crystalline Syndicate followed the fake speaker's orders. They retreated from human territory and began fighting each other over resources. The humans had turned the most organized alien empire into a bunch of confused, scared groups. Vorthan Collective was having different problems. Dr. Bell's virus had spread through their entire shared mind. They were seeing false memories of being attacked by every other species in the galaxy. "The Zelkari are eating our young," one Vorthan commander screamed. "The Crystalline Syndicate is stealing our thoughts," cried another. "The humans are living in our heads," shouted a third. The Vorthan shared mind was breaking apart. Different groups of Vorthan started fighting each other. Some thought they were fighting humans. Others thought they were fighting Zelkari. None of them knew what was real anymore. Nexus Prime tried to restore order, but it was too late. The shared mind that had made the Vorthan Collective strong was now destroying them from the inside. Commander Vextar watched his allies fall apart and realized the horrible truth. The humans weren't just good at fighting. They were good at making other species destroy themselves. "They're not fighting us," Vextar told his remaining officers. "They're making us fight each other. They're making us weak and confused while they stay strong." But it was too late for the Zelkari, too. Human forces led by Colonel Rick Stone were attacking Zelkari worlds. But they weren't trying to conquer these worlds. They were making them uninhabitable. "We poison their water supplies," Stone explained to his soldiers. "We release diseases that kill their crops. We make their planets so miserable that they have to leave." The Zelkari were becoming refugees in their own empire. They had to abandon world after world as the humans made them impossible to live on. Millions of Zelkari were fleeing to the remaining safe worlds, but there wasn't enough room or food for everyone. Dr. Amy Carter was studying the psychological effects of the human campaign. "We're not just defeating them militarily. We're breaking their spirit. They're starting to think of themselves as a weak species that can't protect their own homes." The alien alliance was falling apart. The Vorthan Collective had split into dozens of smaller groups that fought each other. The Crystalline Syndicate was being led by human agents who were secretly working against them. The Zelkari Empire was collapsing as world after world became uninhabitable, but the humans were just getting started. Admiral Lisa Grant was planning the final phase of the war. We're going to show them what real predators can do. We're going to hunt them across the galaxy until they beg for mercy. The human fleet began a systematic campaign of terror. They would attack alien ships and bases, but they wouldn't destroy them completely. Instead, they would disable them and leave them floating in space as warnings to other aliens. Lieutenant Commander Pete Davis was leading psychological operations. His teams would board the disabled alien ships and leave messages for the survivors. The messages were simple. You are prey. We are predators. Submit or be hunted. The aliens were beginning to understand that the humans were not like any other species they had ever encountered. Other species fought for territory or resources. Humans fought to prove they were the strongest predators in the galaxy. They don't just want to defeat us, Speaker of Facets said to her council. She didn't know she was actually talking to the synthetic copy controlled by humans. They want to make us into their hunting trophies. The Vorthan who could still think clearly were having the same realization. The humans are apex predators, said one Vorthan scientist. They evolved to hunt everything else. In space, they're doing what they've always done. Commander Vextar was one of the last Zelkari leaders still fighting. He looked at his broken empire and felt something he had never felt before. He felt like an animal being hunted by a superior predator. We should have never attacked them, Vextar whispered to himself. They were just exploring space. They didn't want to fight, but we forced them to show us what they really are. The war was almost over. The greatest alien empires in the galaxy were collapsing. The humans had proven that they were the ultimate predators. And the worst part was, they were just getting started. 3 years after the first meeting with the Zelkari, the war was over. The human fleet returned to Earth as heroes, but they were different now. They had learned what it meant to be the galaxy's top predators. President Rachel Murphy stood before the United Nations, but the room looked different than before. Now there were aliens sitting in some of the seats. They were representatives of the species that had surrendered to humanity. Today marks the beginning of a new age, President Murphy announced. The Terran hegemony will govern not just Earth, but all inhabited worlds in this galaxy. We are no longer just humans. We are the dominant species. The aliens in the room kept their eyes down. They were dressed in simple clothes and sat quietly like well-behaved pets. These were the leaders of species that had once ruled vast empires. Now they were servants of humanity. Admiral Lisa Grant was given the job of managing the alien populations. She had learned a lot about aliens during the war, but now she had to learn how to control them during peace. We're not going to kill them, Lisa explained to her staff. Dead aliens are worthless. Living aliens can work for us. They can do the jobs that humans don't want to do. The Zelkari were put to work in mines and factories. Their strong bodies made them perfect for heavy labor. Commander Vextar, once a proud warrior, now worked in a human-owned mining facility. He spent his days digging rocks out of the ground. This is what we deserve, Vextar told his fellow workers. We thought we were the strongest species in the galaxy. The humans showed us we were wrong. The Vorthan collective had been broken into smaller groups. Their shared mind had been permanently damaged by the human virus. Now they worked in data processing centers, using their ability to think together to solve problems for human companies. Nexus Prime, who had once controlled millions of Vorthan minds, now managed a small team of data workers. We used to think as one, he told his workers. Now we think only what the humans want us to think. The Crystalline Syndicate was the most useful to the humans. Their crystal bodies could live for thousands of years, and they were very good with technology. They became the maintenance workers for human machines and computers. Speaker of Facets, the real one who had been captured, was released after a year in prison. But she found that her people no longer listened to her. A synthetic copy had been replaced by human administrators, who now gave all the orders. "We are not slaves," Speaker of Facets told her people. "We are pets. The humans feed us and give us homes, but we exist only to serve them." Dr. Amy Carter had become the galaxy's leading expert on alien psychology. Her job was to study the conquered species and make sure they stayed obedient to human rule. "The key is to make them believe that serving humans is natural," Amy explained. To her students, "We don't use force anymore. We use psychology. We make them want to serve us." The human education system was extended to alien children. Young Zelkari, Vorthan, and Crystalline were taught human languages and human history. They learned that humans were the natural leaders of the galaxy. A young Zelkari named Kexta was in one of these schools. He learned about human achievements and human superiority. By the time he was an adult, he believed that serving humans was the right thing to do. "Humans are smarter than us," Kexta told his parents. "They are better leaders. We should be grateful that they take care of us." His parents, who remembered the old Zelkari Empire, felt sad, but they said nothing. Speaking against human rule was forbidden. The galaxy was being reorganized according to human plans. Planets were given new purposes. Some worlds became farms to feed the growing human population. Others became factories to build human machines. A few became vacation spots where humans could relax. The aliens were moved around like pieces on a chessboard. Families were separated and sent to different worlds based on what work was needed. The humans said this was for efficiency, but the aliens knew it was really to prevent them from organizing against human rule. Captain Gary Adams was now in charge of galactic security. His job was to watch for signs of alien rebellion and stop them before they could start. "The aliens are not our enemies anymore," Gary told his security teams. "They are our property. We need to protect them from themselves and from anyone who might try to use them against us." There were some alien groups that tried to resist human rule. Small groups of Zelkari warriors would attack human facilities. Vorthan hackers tried to damage human computer systems. Crystalline scientists worked on secret weapons, but these rebellions never lasted long. The humans had learned too much about alien psychology during the war. They could predict when and where rebellions would happen, and they could stop them easily. Pete Davis led the teams that dealt with alien resistance. But instead of killing the rebels, the humans did something more effective. They captured the rebels and used them in propaganda videos. "Look at these foolish aliens," the videos would say. "They are trying to fight their human protectors. They are too stupid to understand that humans are helping them." The videos were shown to all alien populations. The message was clear. Resistance was not brave. It was stupid. Ambassador Joe Parker represented humanity at the Galaxy Council, which was the government that ruled all inhabited worlds. But the Galaxy Council was nothing like the old alien governments. All the real power belonged to humans. The Galaxy Council exists to serve the needs of all species, Joe announced at a council meeting. But since humans are the most advanced species, we will make the important decisions. The alien representatives on the council nodded and agreed. They had been chosen by humans and trained to support human policies. They looked like alien leaders, but they were really just human puppets. Some of the older aliens remembered what the galaxy was like before the humans arrived. They remembered when their species were free and proud, but they kept these memories to themselves. An old Zelkari named Vexka would sometimes tell stories to his grandchildren about the days when the Zelkari Empire ruled the stars. But he always ended these stories with a warning. "Those days are gone forever," Vexka would say. "The humans have shown us our place in the galaxy. We are no longer predators. We are prey that the humans have chosen to keep alive. The human population was growing rapidly. New human colonies were being built on the best planets in the galaxy. Human families moved to worlds that had once belonged to alien empires. These human colonists lived comfortable lives. They had alien servants to do their work. They had alien-built technology to make their lives easier. They had alien guards to protect them from danger. The human children who grew up on these colony worlds thought this was normal. They believed that aliens were naturally inferior to humans. They saw nothing wrong with keeping aliens as servants. Dr. Amy Carter studied these human children and was sometimes worried by what she found. These children see aliens the same way their ancestors saw farm animals, she wrote in her reports. They think aliens exist only to serve human needs. But most humans didn't worry about this. They were enjoying their position as the galaxy's ruling species. They had conquered the stars without having to destroy them. They had turned their enemies into servants. The transformation was complete. Humanity had gone from a small species on one planet to the rulers of an entire galaxy. They had proven that they were the ultimate predators by doing something no other species had ever done. They had domesticated their enemies. The galaxy was now divided into two groups, humans and everyone else. The humans were the masters who made all the decisions. Everyone else existed to serve human interests. And the most amazing thing was that most of the aliens had accepted this arrangement. They had been so thoroughly defeated that they believed human rule was natural and right. The old Zilkare commander Vextar, now working in a human mine, sometimes looked up at the stars and remembered when his people had traveled between them as conquerors. But those memories felt like dreams from another life. We thought we were the hunters, Vextar whispered to himself. But we were always the prey. The humans just taught us the truth about what we really are. In her final report as the galaxy's chief xenopsychologist, Dr. Amy Carter wrote, "The alien species of this galaxy are now completely integrated into human civilization. They serve human needs and follow human leadership. The age of alien independence is over. The age of human dominance has begun." The last line of her report became famous throughout human space. We did not just conquer the galaxy, we tamed it. And in schools across human worlds, children learned about the Great War that made humanity the rulers of the stars. They learned that humans were natural leaders and that other species were natural followers. The galaxy had learned what it meant when humans became the apex predators. It meant that everything else became their prey.